August Chandra.
So, hi, good morning. So, now what was the last topic? As I can see, so Government of India Act, Montagu Chelmsford Reform. So, this is the last topic. So, now we'll start with Gandhian Gandhian phase in India. Have we started? No. So, Gandhi in South Africa was completed, and then let me reimagine that word. So Gandhi in India will be starting with. Okay? So Gandhi in India, and then after rest of the Gandhian movements. So basically, from here onwards, with the beginning of the Gandhian phase would be there in India. So earlier we mentioned about that Gandhi matured his policies, or not policies, that whatever initiatives he'll be taking in India, it has already been matured in South Africa. Then and then now the further experiment will happen in India. So first of all, as we mentioned at that time, that Gandhi first, after he was satisfied with the process in South Africa, he went to England for recuperation, and then after 6 months he has returned back to India. So 9th of January 1915 he returned back to India. So the very first year of the Gandhi in India, that is 1915 and 1916 basically, in these years he did not participated in any of the national movements. Then when this particular home rule agitation was starting, so he was asked about it, that will he be participating, or will he be the part of the home rule agitation. So he maintained at that point of time that I would participate, or I would join any organization to affect its policy, not to be affected by it. Then, so not to be affected by it. Moreover, that this policy is reflective of that he was not very, his statement is reflective of he was not very much convinced with the policy or the methods of the home rule leaguers, and he would not be participating. But at the same point of time, it must also be understood that he is not participating does not mean that he is disrespecting them. He is just not agreeing them with their methods. Then, and in fact, meanwhile, when the things are going on in home rule agitation, so he had a very good contact with the Tilak, though they have disagreements also, but he respected a lot. Okay, so he respected Tilak a lot. Then, now let's come to the what he will be doing. So these initial years, he did not interfere or intervened in any political movement of that time. Rather, he toured all over India. So he started moving from one place to another place, different parts of the country. So he started touring all over India, and moreover, he was also trying to understand the problems of the people. So he was discussing their grievances, problems of the people, what has went well, what has gone wrong. So these all discussions he's doing. And in fact, since he was very successful against British authority in South Africa, so there was some sort of popularization of his image in India. In fact, Gopal Krishna Gokhale has popularized him. So people were often flocking in large number to see Gandhi, that who is that person, that who was bit successful against the Britishers in South Africa. So now 1917 onwards, he started his regional intervention. Then, so his regional intervention, and the very first regional intervention was Champaran, and after Champaran was the Ahmedabad mill strike, and then the last one was Kheda Satyagraha. So one by one, we'll understand, and at this place only, we'll try to understand the difference between the methods of the Gandhi. Okay, the particular two, non-cooperation and civil disobedience. I think we haven't discussed about the major differences between the two movements. Then, so let's write Gandhian phase in India. Gandhian phase. So in Gandhian phase, first we'll write regional interventions. Regional interventions. So mention a little bit. When Gandhi returned from South Africa, he decided to tour all over India, to understand the problems of people. Full stop. Gandhi was very particular about his participation in any movement. He would never intervene in a situation without studying it with great care. On the question of full stop के बाद लिखो, on the question of his participation in home rule movement, he said he would join any movement or organization to affect its policy and not to be affected by it. Then, so this is what was the Gandhi. So he started his regional intervention. First was Champaran. So let's understand one by one that in Champaran what he has done. So Champaran, what was the issue at the Champaran and who persuaded Gandhi to participate? So the issue at the Champaran is one of the districts of the Bihar, and actually two districts are there, Purvi Champaran and Paschimi Champaran, and they are adjacent to the Nepal and UP, tri-junction of the Nepal and UP. You can imagine if you have a map in your mind, so tri-junction of the UP and Nepal. Then, and in these two districts, the problem was related to the indigo plantation. As we all know that indigo was the source of the blue color, then which was used in the textile industry, and in fact even till this date that one of the most popular color in textile industry is the blue color. Then, so it was the only source of the color, and moreover European planters, they have involved the cultivators from the area of the Champaran into a agreement and into a kind of that system which was known as Tinkatia system. So what is this Tinkatia system? Basically, in this system, the cultivators of Champaran, they needed to cultivate indigo on 3/20th of their land holding. So they needed to cultivate indigo on 3/20th of their land holding. What does it mean? If they have 20 acre of land, so in that land, 3 acres they will be dedicating to the indigo. Moreover, that why European planters have made this kind of agreement, or basically this will be obligatory on the part of the cultivators, because indigo is a water intensive plant, and life cycle of the indigo is not a 1 year but more than 18 months. Then, so it is just like a sugarcane plant, that sugarcane may be 18 mahine lagte hain, and in this also it takes 18 months. Then, so long cycle is there, and moreover this area is very poor. Then, that when we look at that the border areas of the UP and Bihar, both are at that point of time there was so much of impoverishment, and one of the reason of the impoverishment was the floods which are there in this area. Then, so obviously, if the land is occupied for 18 months in which they can do the three crop cultivation, if they go by the rice and wheat, then so तीन बार हो सकता है, but only one crop is growing. But then they were involved in this particular agreement. Now, what happened? By the end of the 19th century, that is exactly 1890 onwards, there was invention of the German synthetic dyes then, and German synthetic blue dyes. So once the German synthetic blue dyes they came into the market, they completely forced out indigo from the market. Then, so they completely forced out indigo from the market, and finally, what happened? The cultivators, okay, cultivators they started demanding that they must be released from this kind of obligation. Now, obviously, it was the need of the European planters also that they must release the cultivators from this obligation of indigo plantation. But then what happened? They turned their necessity into opportunity. And so they turned their necessity into opportunity by demanding illegal money as a release price. Then, so illegal money as a release price that if you give, so then only you will be released from the cultivation. Okay. Now, so after it, when some of them have paid, some of them are still kind of reeling under pressure. So finally, what happened? They persuaded, okay, one of the local leader, and that local leader persuaded Gandhi. So local leader was Rajkumar Shukla. So Rajkumar Shukla persuaded Gandhi. Gandhi decided that first he will visit Champaran, he will look into the case, and then finally he'll go ahead with the strategy. But once Gandhi entered into the Champaran, so district magistrate of the Champaran, he ordered him to immediately leave the district. But Gandhi disobeyed his orders and he entered into the district and he started his own investigation with the help of many local leaders of the Bihar. And these local leaders of the Bihar, later on, they will become one of the very that devout Gandhian followers. So some names are like Rajendra Prasad, okay? Then Rajendra Prasad, that J.B. Kripalani, Mazharul Haq, then Mahadev Desai, then Brij Kishore, Narhari Parikh. So these are the leaders from the Bihar who helped Gandhi. And finally, Gandhi was convinced that the case was justified and he started to create pressure on the British government to issue instruction to the European planters. So finally, the British government, it issued an instruction to the planters that whatever illegal money they have taken, at least kam se kam, okay? So at least they must submit, they must give back 25% of the illegal money that they have taken from the cultivators. So though it is not leading to the complete return of the money, obviously it even in the modern system also, once anybody has taken money, to take back money from that person, it's very difficult. Then so no, I have encountered a number of the time your own money, ठीक है, and then you are pleading to the people कि भैया मेरे पैसे वापस कर दो. So here also it is success, I would say, success of the Gandhi, that Gandhi at least 25% money was ensured that the cultivators would be getting back. It is just like a situation that you are putting your hand in a snake's hornet and then you are getting back, you are returning back with something and then you are unhurt. So it was very much like this. So now Gandhi's popularity increased at this time, and then after this popularity increasing, he was also involved in another case, that was Ahmedabad mill strike. So we'll discuss later. Mention. So you write, what is the last line? एक add कर लो, ठीक है? Just add one line and then you write Champaran. So affected by it, ठीक है? So mention, ठीक है? In the beginning, Gandhi decided to intervene in regional issues. Then, and in this, first you write Champaran. So number one, Champaran issue, and mention. Issue at Champaran was Ishwar Champaran was indigo plantation. Indigo plantation. Full stop. In this area, European planters, European planters concluded an agreement with the cultivators, popularly known as Tinkatia system. Then you write, as per the agreement, cultivators needed to grow indigo on 3 by 20th of their land holding. 3 by 20th of their land holding. Full stop. Then फिर से लिखो after this. By the end of 19th century, German synthetic blue dyes completely forced out indigo from the market. At this time, it was the necessity of European planters to release the cultivators from the obligation of growing indigo. Then mention after it growing indigo. Full stop. European planters turned their necessity into an opportunity. By demanding illegal price. For release from obligation of growing indigo. Then paragraph change karo and then you write. So mention, at this time a local leader Rajkumar Shukla persuaded Gandhi to intervene. Full stop. Gandhi entered into Champaran district. Gandhi entered into Champaran district, but but he was immediately instructed by but he was immediately instructed by district collector district collector to leave the district to leave the districts. Then mention Gandhi disobeyed the orders. Gandhi disobeyed the orders and entered into district disobeyed the order and entered into the district. He further went ahead with his own he further went ahead with his own investigation with his own investigation then with his own investigation. So now many a times it is referred as that it is the first example of the disobedience in India. Which disobedience? Civil disobedience, though not at the mass level but on individual level it has happened. Then so once we are in the non-cooperation we will talk about it, that how come the two strategies are different. Then so that's one thing. Then mention Gandhi was assisted by many local leaders. Gandhi was assisted by many local leaders like Narhari Parekh, J.B. Kripalani, Brij Kishore, Rajendra Prasad, Mahadev Desai, and Mazharul Haq. Mazharul Haq. Right? Then mention after it, after writing this part, Mazharul Haq. Gandhi's investigation created pressure. Gandhi's investigation created pressure on European planters, and they were asked to submit at least 25% at least 25% of the money that they have illegally taken So this is the first success of Gandhi. Okay? Now let's come to the second intervention of the Gandhi, and that second intervention was Ahmedabad mill strike. So what was the issue at Ahmedabad, and then who were the parties involved? So Ahmedabad was basically related to the industrialist of Ahmedabad, and that too, which industrialist? Textile industry. Okay, so textile industry. So now understand that by this point of time, the workers of the Ahmedabad textile mills, they were demanding increase in the wages. Okay, so increase in the wages and also continuation of the plague bonus. Then so continuation of the plague bonus, which was discontinued. Moreover, they cited that in the aftermath of the World War I, living cost has increased, so don't discontinue this plague bonus and also increase the wages. Then now let's understand the problem. Okay, the problem of the plague bonus. Now 1890s, the entire Bombay presidency was inflicted with this particular plague, and today's time there could be some sort of remedy for the plague, but those times there was no remedy. Then either you survive or you don't survive. And as you know, that plague was a disease which is spread from the, who are the, that vehicle of the vectors of the plague. Vector would be a better word. Rats, okay, rodents actually, okay. So in that, rats are the most important. And can you tell that what is the in which particular industry the rats would be in the maximum number? Textile. चीज इंडस्ट्री. इंडिया में चीज इंडस्ट्री नहीं था, ठीक है. So Indians were more akin to butter than cheese. And then, so cheese is something which has been a European intervention in India. And then, so so now understand. So textile industry, then, and textile industry, as you know, that the population of the rats will start to increase if they get some gunny bags, then if they get some cotton related things. So maximum population of the rats always are there in the textile industry. Okay? There is one more place in India which is the kind of a capital of the rats. I hope you know. Okay? Kanpur railway station. Then if you go over there, so you can find the biggest size of the rats over there. Then so you'll be mesmerized that they must have come from the another planet. But then, so textile industry, since maximum number of the rats and their productions are there in the, just like the cotton textile production, rat production is also very high. So basically the bubonic plague started to spread from the textile industry itself. And now what industrialists of those time they did, that people were dying, workers were dying, just to keep them in the line of the production, okay, they were offered more wages, and these wage was called as plague bonus. तो एक हिंदी में बोले तो वो जान पे खेल के टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं, एंड जब ब्यूबोनिक प्लेग खत्म हो गया तो हटा दिया, ठीक है. दिस प्लेग बोनस वाज रिमूव्ड. देन नाउ दिस इज डेफिनेटली दिस इज नॉट अ राइट स्टेप. then they have kept you surviving when there was a scare in the textile industry, and now once the scare is over, so you are just snatching the basic rights with them. And another thing was that wages were not increased from a very longer period of time. So workers were demanding. At this point of time, Gandhi was persuaded and Gandhi intervened. So initially Gandhi had some sort of conversation, some sort of negotiation with one of the mill owner, Ambalal Sarabhai. Then, and actually his talks that he had a very good acquaintance with Ambalal Sarabhai. Ambalal Sarabhai agreed for a moment that he will be going ahead with the Gandhian methods, but then finally what happened, when he must have consulted to other mill owners, so they did not agree. And then what was the proposal of the Gandhi at this time? So Gandhi said that let's give this entire issue to a tribunal and let that tribunal decide that how much increase in the wages would be justified. Then, so Ambalal Sarabhai was ready, but then since other mill owners were not ready for it, later on he also refused. Then, so now it was not submitted to the tribunal. At this point of time, sister of Ambalal Sarabhai, Anusuya Behan, she was one of the biggest supporter of the Gandhi. And finally, Gandhi decided that he will be performing hunger strike. So for the first time, पिछले वाले में first time we have seen the example of the civil disobedience. In this one, he is experimenting with the hunger strike. Then, so he has gone ahead with the hunger strike to keep the motivation of the workers high. And the Gandhi's hunger strike created a pressure on the mill owners, and finally they submitted issue to a tribunal. Then, so when they submitted issue to a tribunal, tribunal gave its award, and in its award it justified 35% increase in the wages is okay. So I hope you know that judgment of the tribunal is called as award. पढ़ोगे अभी पॉलिटी में आगे के टाइम पे quasi judicial bodies, then, and in quasi judicial bodies you read about the tribunals. So civil administrative tribunals, and then what else are there? NGT is also a tribunal. River tribunals बहुत बार सुना होगा, ठीक है. That, and most of the time there is a dispute of the Kaveri river between all the states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, sometimes Andhra also, sometimes little bit of Kerala also. So mainly Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, this is the dispute, and then many such Kaveri river tribunals have been founded. So their judgment is generally, in the technical terms, it is called as award. Then, so now understand. So this award was 35% increase in the wages is justified, and finally workers got what they wanted. Then, so mention, you write Ahmedabad mill strike. Ahmedabad mill strike. So in this you write, title is easy, Ahmedabad mill strike, and then you write the problem at Ahmedabad was discontinuation. Problem of Ahmedabad was continuation of plague bonus, which was given to the workers, from long time and no increment in the wages of workers from long time. Then mention further wages of workers from long time, full stop. At this time, Gandhi persuaded one of the mill owner, Ambalal Sarabhai, to submit the issue to a tribunal. Later, Ambalal Sarabhai refused along with other mill owners. Gandhi at this time was supported by Anusuya Behan, sister of Ambalal Sarabhai. And Gandhi decided to observe hunger strike. To keep the motivation of workers high. Gandhi's hunger strike created pressure on mill owners. Created pressure on mill owners. And they submitted the entire issue to a tribunal. Full stop. Tribunal gave its award and justified 35% increase in the wages. 35% increase in the wages. Then, so this is what is about this particular part. Okay? So Ahmedabad issue was also solved, but here, since British was not the direct party, so It's not related to British, but then success of Gandhi. Then let's come to the last one in which British are involved. So Kheda, it is called as Kheda Satyagraha. But then we do see not only the method of Satyagraha but non-cooperation little bit over here. Then, so what was the issue at the Kheda? Now let's understand where is the Kheda. Kheda in Gujarat, okay? And this is one of the most famous area from Gujarat. In 19, not just at this point of time, but also in the 1960s and 70s. This is the place from where the Operation Flood started. Okay? What is Operation Flood? Milk. Okay? So related to milk, and then the creator of the Operation Flood was Varghese Kurian. Okay? You will be reading about it that Amul movement, it all started from here. Then Varghese Kurian. And moreover, when later on in the social justice and the post-independence, I don't think so there you'll be studying in the social justice when you read about the cooperatives. So the most successful cooperative of India was the Amul cooperative or milk cooperatives of the Gujarat. Rest of the cooperatives in India failed miserably. Then sugarcane cooperatives and then other crop cooperatives, they all failed miserably, but this was successful. So there are many reasons that why it was successful. But then let's come to this area. So Kheda was the area from where it all started, and in fact the initial name of the Kheda was the Amul was the Kheda Milk Cooperative Union Limited. Okay, बाद में वो change होते होते it became Amul, and A stands for the Anand. Okay, so now understand that Kheda was obviously a very agriculturally very important area. But then at this point of time in between 1915, 16, 17, 18, this was the time when there was a severe drought in the Kheda. Then, and this severe drought impacted the crop cultivation. No crops grew and no crops grew, but at the same point of time, British officers, they were collecting the revenue. So now what happened that when the crops were impacted, at this point of time, the peasants demanded a remission of the land revenues, and British authorities, they refused that they will not be doing it. So first of all, it was that one such organization, Gujarat Sabha. Okay? So Gandhi was the member of the Gujarat Sabha, and Gujarat Sabha played a very vital role in this agitation. In fact, this Kheda Satyagraha was already initiated by Sardar Patel and his brother Vittal Bhai Patel and then Indulal Yagnik. Then, so they were already campaigning for it. Then, and moreover, Gopal Krishna Gokhale Servant Society of India, it also made a survey of it, and it also justified the case that it is right, that whatever they are demanding, that is right. So now, from all the walks of the life, important organizations which were active at this point of time, they all justified that government must do the remission of the land revenue. But then finally what happened that when government was not paying any heed, so Gandhi at this point of time, he intervened and he further motivated the workers, not workers, the peasant class. And what he said, so he made a statement that it is impossible to govern men without their consent. In fact, this is what we have written earlier also, Machiavelli's statement. Then, and time and again it has been used. So he said that it is impossible to govern men and women against their consent. Then, and then he said that we need to fight against this evil system. We need to fight against this evil system till the last breath. Then, and then further he suggested that we need to withhold the land revenue. So now, when Gandhi suggested that we need to withhold the land revenue, everyone stopped submitting the land revenue. Now this created a pressure on the authorities, and finally, such was the pressure. In fact, it brought an embarrassing situation on the authorities that they stopped the revenue collection. And moreover, they further said that those who want to pay, they can pay, but government is suspending the revenue collection. Okay? So this is what happened. Now, why government was in an embarrassing situation? You must be thinking that government has all the paraphernalia to crush the movement. They have all the paraphernalia to crush the movement and then do anything with the people, those who are not submitting, or confiscate their property. It is not a hidden thing that they have not confiscated in the past. So they can do anything. Why they were not doing anything at this point of time? So, any idea? So now understand, if I say that there was some sort of, not only it was a satyagraha, but there was some sort of symbolism, not symbolism, some sort of non-cooperation was also there in this one. So what is this? Now government is in an embarrassing situation. It means, ध्यान से समझना, government is in an embarrassing situation. It means that government is doing some sort of illegal activity. Okay? What is illegal activity? Now understand. It is the Bombay Presidency, and in Bombay Presidency, you remember which kind of land revenue settlement was there? Rayatwadi. Okay? What was the one of the feature of the settlements then? That one of the feature of the settlement is that in the case of the crop failure, they will not collect the revenue. Remember? Now there is a crop failure, they are collecting the revenue. That is the issue. Okay? So there is a case of a crop failure, they are collecting the revenue. They are, earlier people were not aware about their rights. That's how they were collecting. Okay? But now there are the leaders, and there are the leaders who are making people aware about it, and they are making them know that this is the particular clause, this is the particular thing, and then since the drought is there, so you all are entitled not to pay the revenue. So this is what is called as awareness, which has increased by this point of time. And then that's why government was in embarrassing situation. It stopped the collection. So mention, you write. What is, have you written the title? Kheda Satyagraha. So you write that Kheda was known for high agricultural productivity, but from many years it was impacted by the severe drought, droughts. Full stop. Peasants demanded remission. Peasants demanded remission of land revenues. Done. Then mention Gopal Krishna Gokhale's Servant Society of India. Performed the survey of this area, and recommended to government that demand of peasants are justified. Demands of peasants are justified. Then mention Gandhi, who was the member of Gujarat Sabha, played a vital role in this agitation. He got the support of important leaders of Kheda. That is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Vittalbhai Patel, and Indu Lal Yagnik. Then Indulal Yagnik. Mention Gandhi addressed peasants. Addressed peasants. And then you write, it is impossible to govern. It is impossible to govern men without their consent. It is impossible to govern men without their consent. Without their consent. He advised peasants. He advised peasants to fight against. He advised peasants to fight against such an evil system. Fight against such an evil system till their last breath. Till their last breath. Till their last breath. And further asked them to withhold the revenue. To withhold the revenue. Withhold the revenue. Mention. It created embarrassing situation. It created embarrassing situation for British authorities. Embarrassing situation for British authorities. And they suspended collection of revenue. They suspended collection of revenue. Then, so this is the complete success of the Gandhi against the British authority. So now you see, अब इस टाइम तक, ठीक है, by 1919 this all has unfolded, and by this point of time what would be the popularity of the Gandhi? Very high. Then so it has been catapulted to a very strong place where nobody can, Gandhi would say, catch me if you can, and to him to Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Why so? Gandhi hasn't said, it's me who is saying that catch me if you can, because Muhammad Ali Jinnah by this point of time he was very much into, okay? He was very much into the constructive politics, and then also he was trying to bring the members of the Hindu community, Muslim community together, then working in a unison. But then it was something which was the rise of the Gandhi was not actually digested by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Then Muhammad Ali Jinnah used to see himself as one of the prime leaders of India, and then his popularity, it is not said that it is decreasing, but Gandhi's popularity was increasing, and that's how the personal aspect came into play. But then by 1920s, many other things will be unfolding which will make Jinnah a little bit bitter in Indian politics, and by 1929, rise of Gandhi, okay, personal twist in his life then, and they all have made him little bitter, and not just the bitter but also filled with so much of agony that he decided to quit the politics for time while in India. 29 he shifted to England, he started practicing law. 37 he will be coming back, and then he will be altogether a different personality. So there is a very transformation, I would not say transformation is a positive word, okay? Deformation of his personality, that would be a better word. Then, so for example, since we are talking about the Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, so this comparison we are not writing, but then you have n number of the places where we'll be comparing. So one of the thing that I need to maintain in the beginning itself is that, first of all, Gandhi's approach, okay, and Jinnah's approach. So when it comes to Gandhi, so Gandhi was deeply religious in nature, deeply religious in his private life, and totally secular in his public life. Then, so totally secular in his public life. When it came to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, so Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he was not at all religious in his private life, okay, and in fact he tossed everything which is related to the religion in the air when it came to his personal choices. But then when it came to the public discourse, he used religion. So that is the initial difference. that when it came to the public discourse, he used religion as a vehicle. And when it came to private aspect of his life, he was not at all religious. So we'll see some examples later on. Okay? So now let's go on to the next topic. Okay? So this is what is about. अभी बहुत कुछ stories भी हैं related to Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and then obviously Gandhi, and then all other people. But Muhammad Ali Jinnah's story last day I shared one with you. We'll share whenever the time comes. Then, so Gandhian movement by 1919, these all are over, and then after 1919, as already we have noted down, Montagu-Chelmsford reforms have come. Okay, so Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, and Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, they did not satisfy the Indians. And the way they were expecting the reforms would be there, it was very sort of the expectations. Now another thing, that this is also the time when Montagu-Chelmsford reforms are not at all satisfying the aspiration. Government came up with one more bill, then, and name of the bill was Rowlatt Bill. Then, so what was this Rowlatt Bill? Understand. So from here onwards, aboriginal ke baad then pan-India intervention of the Gandhi. So Rowlatt Bill, understand, in the name of curbing terrorist violence, it was going to curb the civil liberties. फिर से एक बार ध्यान से समझना. Rowlatt Bill was aimed at curbing the terrorist violence, but on the pretext of curbing terrorist violence, they were curbing civil liberties. What does it mean? That meaning that they maintained that this bill is aimed at the curbing or stopping the terrorist violence. But then, to stop the terrorist violence, the normal public of India or entire population of India, their civil liberties would be curtailed, which means their freedom of expression would be curtailed, their activities would be curtailed, there would be so many restrictions which will be imposed on the public. Then, so this is what they said. Now at this point of time, Gandhi felt that there is a need of a all India movement, okay? And all India kind of that protest and movement against British authority. Moreover, since civil liberties are curtailed not just for the Hindus but for the Muslims, for the Buddhists, for the Christians, everyone, so everyone is going to support this one. Okay? Muslim League also supported, Hindu Mahasabha also supported, and so as the Congress has initiated this movement. Now, to initiate this movement, since it needed more energy, so Gandhi wanted that youth must participate in large number. And I think in 2016, this was the question. So, large number of the young leaders or young people from the home rule agitation, they joined Rowlatt, or they were called by the Gandhi to join this movement, and they joined. So, young leaders of the home rule movement, they joined. Now the movement started, and what was the form of the movement? So form of the movement was obviously protest, and but protest के अलावा mass agitation, ठीक है, mass procession, हड़ताल, ठीक है, so हड़ताल and mass procession, हड़ताल, prayers and fasting. So these were there. The original date of the launch was 6th of April. But then due to some confusion, what happened? That 6th of April the original date tha, but youth were little excited. And particularly in Delhi, Ambala, Jalandhar, Amritsar, these all area, they started little early. So they started little early, and there is no change in the youth of that. Youth के यहाँ पे बड़े बूढ़ों का भी no change in the attitude of the people of this area. You can witness. Then अभी दिवाली आ रहा है ना, पूरी इंडिया में दिवाली it would be on 12th of November, but दिल्ली में 1 नवंबर से start हो जाता है. So firecrackers. Then so you know, so here. They started little early then, and moreover it led to, obviously it will lead to the violence then, so it will lead to the violence particularly in Amritsar, Jalandhar, Ambala, Delhi, these all places, but it was more severe in the Amritsar then. Now what happened? Government brought large forces in Amritsar then, very large British force in Amritsar, and moreover on 10th of April 2 local leaders, they were arrested. These local leaders were Saifuddin Kichlu and Satyapal. So they were arrested and they were taken to an unknown location. Now the masses got excited on this, that where they have taken their leaders, and then 13th of April, which was the Baisakhi day, large number of the people who were gathered in the Amritsar city for Baisakhi celebration, and obviously in the neighboring villages and the towns, they people were not knowing that what is happening. Okay, most of the people they have come for the celebration, and there was one place you all know, okay, Jallianwala Bagh. So a public speech was going on in Jallianwala Bagh, and this is not a garden actually. Jallianwala Bagh was an open space between the buildings. Okay, so open space between the buildings. So these are the buildings which I have created, and there was only one entry and exit to this particular open ground. It was a playground actually. Okay, so it was a playground, and in this playground there was a well. And so there was a well, and here after when people have gathered to listen to the speech, so General Dyer, who was incensed with the people, and then he ordered his regiment to launch fire on the unarmed crowd. And as per the government estimate, how many people were dead? They said only 379 people dead. But then in original, more than 1,000 people died. Most of the people died because of the firing. A good number of the people died because they jumped into the well to save their life, but none of them survived. And some people died because of the trampling also. So this is what happened, and this particular incident stunned the nation. Everyone was shocked, and then after there was series of the gestures from the Indians. We'll talk about that, but before that, who were the important authorities in the Punjab at this point of time responsible for this killing? One was the Lieutenant Governor of the Punjab. What was his name? Michael O'Dyer. Very recently, a movie was released, Udham Singh. Have you seen? So Udham Singh's story was associated with the Jallianwala Bagh only. A young child then who have lost their family members in the Jallianwala Bagh. He was determined to take the revenge, and he's the one who killed Michael O'Dyer in Britain. Then, so this is what is there. So Michael O'Dyer, and what is the involvement of the Michael O'Dyer? We talk about, and the general who was there in Amritsar, General Dyer. नाम बहुत similar है, or basically similar ही है. So now, why we say that they had a role, that if they needed to disperse the crowd, they must have given some sort of alarm to them, or they must have given some sort of notification to them that crowds must not gather, they must get dispersed. They did not give any such alarm to the crowd. Any such notice was not given to the crowd. In fact, crowd was not stopped at all at any moment. When the Amritsar, it's totally floodgated with the police members or police officials, so they could have stopped the crowd. They did not stop the crowd. Moreover, as per the arrangement, 2 days before itself, 2 vans of the magazines were brought to the Amritsar. Then, so 2 vans of the magazine fully loaded with magazines. And then, what is the purpose? If you have brought 2 to 3 lakh round of the magazines, then so what is the purpose of it? It means that the deliberate killing was already planned in a day advance or 2 day advance. And then when the people have entered, nobody stopped people from entering into the Jallianwala Bagh. And once they all have entered, they are listening to the speech. Then all the vans were brought, and then he asked them to launch a attack on the people, or not attack. It is a killing. So deliberate killing of the people. So 379 people, according to their estimate, according to the official estimate, were dead. More than 1,000 died. And then this particular incident, it produced many nationalists in India, including the one who was impacted, Bhagat Singh. So now understand that what was the gesture from the Indian side. So at this point of time, Rabindranath Tagore, he renounced his knighthood. So Rabindranath Tagore, he renounced his knighthood. Then Gandhi returned back his, what is this? So Kaisar Hind title, and Sankar Nair, he resigned from the Viceroy Executive Council. And moreover, after this, government constituted a commission, and name of the commission was Hunter Commission. This Hunter Commission gave a very lackluster report. So very lackluster report. And what was this lackluster report? That it gave a soft warning to General Dyer. What was the soft warning? Then that see that whatever you have done, that is not right. Then you need to be careful. Then Next time onwards, please don't do that. So, do you see that the person who has killed 1,000 people, and then this was the warning which was given to him. Later on, we'll be writing few more stuff, but I'm mentioning this over here only. General Dyer's actions were celebrated in Britain. Then, in House of Lord, the parliamentarians of Britain, these lords of Britain, they claimed that he was savior of the British Empire. He was the lion of the British Empire, and moreover, not only his attempts were, or his particular this thing was hailed, but there was one journalistic organization, basically newspaper organization, which released a very big advertisement on the first page to collect the funds, okay, for General Dyer's action. And next day, next morning, आज advertisement है, and next morning 30,000 pound were collected for General Dyer. And so the fervor in the Britain was all in the favor of the General Dyer, as if he is some sort of hero and he has done the right thing that was required. So this is what was the attitude of the British government, and then it has given a clear indication to all the nationalists that this is the most heinous crime which has happened till this point of time. In fact, C.F. Andrews, then his name we have already mentioned, where Gandhi's negotiation in South Africa, and he was often called as Deen Bandhu. So he said that on this end, he said that it was the most heinous crime that humanity has ever seen, and humanity has ever seen. And then Congress also created its committee to inquire into it, but then it was of no use because British will not be accepting any of it. So mention, you're right. फिर से बोलो. It's a very, it could be an easy question you can type. ठीक है. Montagu Chelmsford. You have already written. ठीक है. So अब इस क्वेश्चन में टाइम बर्बाद मत करो. 1919, who was the Governor General, not Governor General, Viceroy of India? He is also called as Governor General. ठीक है. आ गया आंसर? Is it fine? Should I move ahead? चलो. So Chelmsford was the Governor General of India. देखो बहुत सारी चीज़ें लिखवाई नहीं जाती हैं, ठीक है, अपने आप ही जो पीछे लिखा है ना, तो उससे आराम से याद आ जाएगा तुम्हें. सो मेंशन फर्दर आफ्टर इट. पहले लिखना ऑल इंडिया इंटरवेंशन ऑफ गांधी. मैं तो डर गया था कि कहीं तुम इतना डिफिकल्ट सवाल ना पूछ लो कि मुझे खुद ही गूगल खोजना पड़े. सो यू राइट, रॉलेट सत्याग्रह. So mention. When Indians were expecting, when Indians were expecting, when Indians were expecting more political concessions, more political concessions, more political concessions, comma, government came up with a repressive act. Government came up with a repressive act. Repressive act. Then mention that is Rowlatt Bill. Rowlatt Bill, named after Sidney Rowlatt. Named after Sidney Rowlatt. Sidney Rowlatt, who was the head of the committee of this bill. Who was the head of committee of this bill. Committee of this bill. Then mention. After this you write head of committee of this bill. This bill was aimed at curbing terrorist violence. This bill was aimed at curbing terrorist violence. But on the pretext of curbing terrorist violence, it was curtailing civil liberties. It was curtailing civil liberties. Then civil liberties. Then paragraph change karo. At this time, Gandhi suggested Rowlatt Satyagraha. Gandhi suggested Rowlatt Satyagraha. He roped in the young Home Rule Leaguers. He roped in the young Home Rule Leaguers in this movement. Home Rule Leaguers. League में ERS जोड़ दो, ठीक है? Leaguers in this movement. Then mention. Gandhi also got the support of all the other communities. Full stop. The program of Rowlatt Satyagraha included protest, procession, mass hadtal, prayer and fasting. Then official launch date was 6th of April. Official launch date was 6th of April, but due to some confusion, people in Delhi, Ambala, Jalandhar, and Amritsar started it little early. Then mention. It led to many instances of violence in this area. Done in this area. Then उसके बाद देखो, after that you mention instances of violence in this area, full stop. Government called heavy security forces particularly in Amritsar. They also arrested. They also arrested two local leaders. They also arrested two local leaders. That is Saifuddin Kichliu, Saifuddin Kichliu, and Satyapal. Saifuddin Kichliu and Satyapal. Then mention further Saifuddin Kichliu and Satyapal. अब एक टाइटल लिख लो, जालियावाला बाग मैसेकर. So mention जालियावाला बाग mention on 13th of April, on 13th of April, that was Baisakhi Day. That was Baisakhi Day. Large number of people gathered. Large number of people gathered in Amritsar. Large number of people gathered in Amritsar to attend the festivities. To attend the festivities. Then mention after it. A good number of people gathered in Jallianwala Bagh, to listen to a public speech. Then listen to a public speech. At this point of time, the commanding British officer लिखना, commanding British officer General Dyer, commanding British officer General Dyer ordered his regiment. General Dyer ordered his regiment to fire upon the unarmed crowd. Without giving any warning. To fire upon unarmed crowd without giving any warning. Then you write the official estimate was 379 dead. Official estimate was 379 dead, but in reality more than 1,000 people died. In reality, more than 1,000 people died. Change paragraph. Brutalities stunned the nation. Brutalities stunned the nation. Stunned the nation. Full stop. Rabindranath Tagore returned his knighthood. Rabindranath Tagore returned his knighthood. Gandhi gave up the title of Kaisar-e-Hind. Gandhi gave up the title of Kaisar-e-Hind. Gandhi gave up the title of Kaisar-e-Hind, and Sankar Nair resigned from Viceroy Executive Council. Resigned from Viceroy Executive Council. Full stop. Deen Bandhu C.F. Andrews claimed it one of the most heinous crimes against humanity. One of the most heinous crime against humanity. Heinous crime against humanity. Then, so this is what was the Jallianwala Bagh. Change paragraph. One more thing you write. Mention. Government appointed to look into not appointed के बाद लिखना था हंटर कमीशन अपॉइंटेड हंटर कमीशन टू लुक इनटू ऐड कर लो appointed hunter commission to look into the wrongdoings. Then wrongdoings. The report was just a formality. Which only gave a caution or soft warning to General Dyer. Then, so this is what is all about the Jallianwala Bagh, and it was one of the interval of the Indian freedom struggle. Okay? Because from here onwards, the leaders would be more interested into becoming more assertive, and then they will not settle down on anything which is less. Then, so Gandhi, now what he will be doing? Looking at the immediate environment of the violence, by the 20th of April, he has already called off Rowlatt Satyagraha. But then, he has taken a determination that he'll be launching a much bigger movement than this one. Then, so now 1919 is also the time which when the end of the world wars is very near, and moreover, there is one more issue which has come up, and this issue is known as Khilafat issue. Okay, so Khilafat issue. On the question of the Khilafat issue, Gandhi will be trying to join the Muslim leaders with the Congress leaders, and so as use the platform of the Khilafat to bring harmony between Hindus and Muslims, and also launch a bigger movement which will be known as non-cooperation. Then, so we need to talk about the important sessions of the Congress at this point of time. One was the special session of the Congress which happened in Calcutta in 1920, and the annual session of the Congress which happened in Nagpur in 1920. But before that, we need to understand about the Khilafat issue. What was the Khilafat issue and why Gandhi was interested in becoming the part of the Khilafat issue? So understand. We'll write this title, but understand. So what was Khilafat issue? During the World War I, then Britain declared India to be the party to the World War, and so as all the Indian leadership, even Tilak also declared that Indians must assist Britain in its hour of crisis, so as the Muslim League, so as the many other leaders of India. So now, large number of Indians who are participating in World War I, it also includes Hindu and Muslim sepoys then. But then, when we look at the parties who were there on the both sides, then, so Axis power included, or basically the Germany side included Austria, Hungary and Turkey. Okay? So, what mattered to the Indians was the Turkey, not the other countries. Why? So the Sultan of the Turkey, okay, Sultan of the Turkey, who also had the title of Khalifa. Who is Khalifa? So Khalifa was considered as the spiritual leader in the Islam. So spiritual leader in the Islam, and moreover he was respected all over the world by the Muslim community. And so now when Indian Muslims are participating in the World War One, so then they have asked to the British authority that after the end of the war, there must not be any mistreatment to the Khalifa. So British, while fighting the war, they have assured Indian Muslims that they will not be disturbing the position of the Khalifa. And when Treaty of Sevres has happened after the end of the World War One, they tried to destabilize the position of Sultan. Okay? Turkey was dismembered, and then after the Sultan was removed from the British were trying to remove him from the power. This seemed to be a kind of a blatant treachery to the promise which was given by the British to the Indian Muslims. They felt that their loyalty was purchased, then, and their loyalty was purchased on the false assurance, and that's how some of the leaders at this point of time they created Khilafat committee. So this Khilafat committee included the leaders like that Ali brothers. So Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali. Okay? So Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali, then Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, then Hasrat Mohani and Ajmal Khan. So they were the main leaders of the Khilafat committee. Gandhi also became the member of the Khilafat committee. And during the All India Khilafat conference, he was the president. He thought that this is a time that we can build the harmony between the two societies. And moreover, on Khilafat issue, he wanted that to start a non-cooperation, and he wanted that Congress must also approve this non-cooperation movement from the Congress side, and so as the Khilafat part also must be approved by the Congress. Then, in fact, Muslim League's help also he has enlisted by this point of time. So now we'll look at that what Congress is going to do. So Congress will take decisions in two sessions. One is the special session in Calcutta, presided by Lala Lajpat Rai, and then would be the annual session at Nagpur. Nagpur session of 1920 is considered to be the most important session of the Congress till this date, which has happened. Okay, so we'll see that why it was the most important session. It is in regard to many such developments which has happened. So let's talk about the Khilafat issue. So mention a title, Khilafat issue. So likho, mention. During World War One, during World War One, British authority enlisted the help of Indian Muslims. British authority enlisted the help of Indian Muslims in the war effort. In the war effort. War effort. They also assured Indian Muslims. They also assured Indian Muslims that they will not disturb the position of Khalifa of in Turkey, the position of Khalifa in Turkey, position of Khalifa in Turkey, who was regarded as spiritual leader of Islam, was regarded as spiritual leader of Islam, and respected all over the world, and respected all over the world in Muslim community, in Muslim community. Done. Full stop. Change paragraph. After the end of war, after the end of war, British did not kept their promise. Did not kept their promise and tried to disturb the position. Tried to disturb the position of Khalifa. Tried to disturb the position of Khalifa. Then mention position of Khalifa. Full stop. Indian Muslims felt that their loyalty was purchased. Indian Muslims felt that their loyalty was purchased on false assurance. Their loyalty was purchased on false assurance. Then they demanded. So number wise you can write. Okay. First you write Sultan of Turkey or Khalifa. Sultan of Turkey or Khalifa must be left up with. Sultan of Turkey or Khalifa must be left up with enough territories. Must be left up with enough territories after territorial rearrangements. After territorial rearrangements. Number 2. His religious authority on Muslim religious places must remain intact. Must remain intact. Then now, so no points mentioned. The next line is basically to fulfill this demand. They created Khilafat Committee. Khilafat Committee. Then the important members of Khilafat Committee included Ali brothers, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Maulana Abul Kalam, Ajmal Khan and Hasrat Mohani. Hasrat Mohani. Done. Gandhi also became member of Khilafat Committee. Gandhi also became member of Khilafat Committee and supported Khilafat issue. Then mention supported Khilafat issue, full stop. As the president of All India Khilafat Conference 1919. As the president of All India Khilafat Conference 1919. He mooted the idea, MOOTED. He mooted the idea of Khilafat non-cooperation movement. Khilafat non-cooperation movements. Then, so now एक heading लिखो, reasons leading to Khilafat non-cooperation. Khilafat non-cooperation. So already we have discussed this part. सिर्फ लिखना है. So very first thing, understand. एक बार फिर से समझ लो. One is the Khilafat issue itself. ठीक है? That Khilafat issue, and Muslims are feeling that they have been that treachery has been done to them. Then apart from it, all over India, people wanted rectification of the Punjab wrong. What is Punjab wrong? Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay? So all over India, people wanted rectification of the Punjab wrong, and moreover, the people emotions were fanned to the extreme end by the treatment which was given to General Dyer in the Britain. That House of the Lords hailing him as a lion, and then the money which was collected for his actions. Okay? Then apart from it, the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, by the end of the 1919, it is already there then, and Montagu-Chelmsford reforms have further, that they were sort of the expectations of the Indians, so they wanted further political reforms, and moreover, already the Rowlatt Bill which was there, it was aimed at the curtailing civil liberties. So, counting these all grounds, there was an immediate involvement of the mass movement then, and if it cannot be tapped at this point of time, so it will be too late for the Indian nationalist. So mention number 1, ऐसे point wise लिख लो, Khilafat issue. Number 1, Khilafat issue. Then number 2, people wanted rectification of Punjab wrong. People wanted rectification of Punjab wrong. Number 3, Indians were incensed with the way the mass killer General Dyer, was celebrated in the Britain. Mass killer General Dyer was celebrated in Britain. For example, House of Lords. Hailed him, HAILED, hailed him as the lion who saved the British Empire. Hailed him as the lion who saved British Empire. Then mention after it British Empire, full stop. Then the Morning Post organization, उसी में same statement में, ठीक है, after full stop. The Morning Post organization raised 30,000 pound for the General Dyer's action. 30,000 pound for the General Dyer's action. Done? So General Dyer's action. Then next point, disillusionment with the Montagu-Chelmsford reform. disillusionment with the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Then, so now listen. After this, so basically, what happened? 1st of August 1920, death of the Tilak. Okay. So from the death ground, that the cremation ground itself, Gandhi declared that he will be initiating non-cooperation, and that is the day when he has requested Congress for calling for a special session of the Congress. Then, so before it, we have not mentioned any special session, and now understand that whenever any special session is going to happen, so special session would also be equally similar to the annual session. Okay, and there would be a president of the special session who will have the exact same powers like the president of the Congress. Then, so president of the Congress. So there is no such difference, but only difference is that special session only on the special occasion. Then, for the very first time, an extremist leader became the president of the special session. And who was that? Lala Lajpat Rai. So before 1920, no such extremist leader has ever become the president of the Congress. Then, and this question was asked in many of the state PCS examination. एक साल में 3 state PCS exam में मैंने ये question देखा. ठीक है? So in options they have given option Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Aurobindo also. So they never became president of the Congress. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Aurobindo. It was only Lala Lajpat Rai. So now, on the request of Gandhi, it was convened in Calcutta, and moreover, so Gandhi made his presentations related to the non-cooperation. Then, once Gandhi made his presentation, so large number of the people or participant in this Congress session, they liked the idea, they approved it. But Lala Lajpat Rai was very much opposed to it. He did not agree, and so as okay, Lala Lajpat Rai did not agree. But then one of the biggest opponent of the Gandhi in this particular special session was C.R. Das. Then, so Chittaranjan Das, he must have felt that Gandhi actually went overboard. He went overboard and he gave a statement which offended C.R. Das. And statement was that if the non-cooperation movement is launched, so India will get its freedom within 1 year. Then, so C.R. Das was like that, do you consider we as the fools? That what we are doing from last many years. So last many years it is not leading to the freedom, and you are saying that just in 1 year there would be a freedom. Then, so C.R. Das was not, he did not agreed with it, but then Gandhi realized that overboard statements must not be given, and he utilized the period between the special session to annual session to do some conciliation with the C.R. Das, who was also a senior leader. So he did some conciliation and he was able to convince C.R. Das in this 3-4 month duration. And though the session approved Gandhi's ideas of non-cooperation, but the final decision was to be taken in the 1920 annual session. Okay, so it was actually आगे के लिए छोड़ दिया गया था, that when it will start and how it will start, what all things will be there inside it. So it was left for the 1920 annual session, and the annual session when it is going to happen. So as we said, that it will be the most important session of the Congress till this date. So you write that mentioned on Gandhi's request, a special session of Congress was called. A special session of Congress was called. Then mention. So title लिख लो. Special INC session 1920 Calcutta, and presided by Lala Lajpat Rai. Presided by Lala Lajpat Rai. Mention. Gandhi presented his proposals related to Gandhi presented his proposals related to non-cooperation. Proposals related to non-cooperation. He went overboard. He went overboard and said, if non-cooperation is initiated, India will get the freedom. India will get the freedom within 1 year. India will get the freedom within 1 year. Freedom within 1 year. Then mention after it, India will get the freedom within 1 year, full stop. And then, though the proposals were accepted by the majority, but Lala Lajpat Rai and C.R. Das did not agreed. Full stop. As such, it was decided that final decision will be taken during the annual session. That, so this is what is about this particular part. You can take the break and then we'll see the annual session and non-cooperation related developments. So listen. So annual session, by this point of time, the differences between Gandhi and C.R. Das has melted. And surprising is that in this session, C.R. Das was the one who presented things related to non-cooperation. Okay? So he is making proposals related to the non-cooperation. Then, moreover, it was presided by Vijay Raghava Cheriyar. Then why it is considered as one of the most important session of the Congress? This is the most important session of the Congress till this date, because there were many proposals related to Congress organization also at this time, and it made Congress a truly bigger party of the people of India, and then also a mass party of India. We'll see those proposals then. And proposals related to Congress organization were made by Gandhi, and proposals related to non-cooperation was initiated by C.R. Das. So what were the proposals related to non-cooperation? First of all, so non-cooperation proposal will include boycott of the councils. Okay? So boycott of the councils, the one which was there earlier also, the boycott provision would be applicable. Boycott of the foreign goods and the services, that would be there. Councils, foreign goods and services. Then apart from it, promotion of the khadi. Okay? Promotion of the khadi, make in India kind of stuff. Basically, once again, there are the few things which are taken from the Swadeshi. So promotion of the khadi, promotion of the Indian things, promotion of the Indian manufactured goods. Then boycott of the educational institutes, boycott of the public courts and the judiciary. Then, so when these all boycotts are happening, so what will be replacing it? First of all, when the public schools, or basically the government school, if they are government institutions are boycotted, so then the national institutions were promoted. And these national institutions are already promoted from which time? So particularly Swadeshi only. And 3 more universities, 4 actually educational institutes came up at this point of time. And these were Bihar Vidyapeeth, Kasi Vidyapeeth, and Gujarat Vidyapeeth, and Jamia Millia Islamia. Apart from it, national oriented schools were created in the duration between 1908 till this point of time, and their numbers were 800. So 800 new schools got created in last 10 years. Moreover, Subhash Chandra Bose was also promoting one such idea of the national education. So he is also the principal of one of the national school. Then so as the Jawaharlal Nehru, so as the Motilal Nehru. So all these leaders, they are going ahead with that some sort of national school. Then judiciary was also equally boycotted. Then so judiciary was boycotted by the leaders like all those who are in the profession of the law: Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, C.R. Das, C. Rajagopalachari, Sardar Patel, Asaf Ali. So these all people, they have boycotted the Rajendra Prasad boycotted this particular thing. So these were the NCM related proposals. Take care that what they will be doing, and they will not be cooperating with the British authority. So that is one part. Then when it came to Congress related proposals, so Congress related proposals were made by, as we said, that it was made by Gandhi. Then so it was made by Gandhi. What he said, that first of all, these proposals are not a new proposal. Already this was made by Tilak way earlier in between 1916 and 17, but Congress did not accept it because he was extremist leader. So the very first thing, that even Tilak has also advocated that there must be a creation of a small committee in the Congress which will look after day-to-day affairs of the Congress. Gandhi suggested that need of this time is creation of a 15-member working committee. Then so Congress working committee which will look after day-to-day administration or affair of the Congress. It was accepted. Then so it was accepted. Then after the second proposal of the Gandhi, that Gandhi said that for that development of the states on the linguistic basis. Last day itself you have studied that it was the Tilak who called for the linguistic reorganization of the state. Then here once again Gandhi is voicing that the Congress committee in the provinces must be created on the basis of the language, not on the basis of the British classification. So they are not talking about that provinces as a create, they are talking about at least hum to kar sakte hain. We can do that. Congress committees will be created on the basis of the language. Then so for Telugu speaking area, a different Congress committee. For Tamil speaking area, different Congress committee. This is what was the idea, and it is actually a very good idea because people, if one Congress committee is related to one language, so at least the message of the Congress will be leading to the, it will be reaching to the people in a clear and crystal manner. So that was one thing. Then Gandhi further said that to coordinate between these all Congress committees, there must be a creation of All India Congress Committee. So All India Congress Committee will be coordinating between the provincial Congress committees. And then he said to develop Hindi as a contact language between the provinces as extent possible. So between the provinces as extent possible. What does it mean? That he's not, अच्छा एक बात और समझना, that Hindi is not projected as a national language or official language. It is projected as a, that which if the two states are not able to transact, ठीक है, is they are not able to transact in that one language, so then Hindi will be developed as a contact language. ठीक है, so mention further. You right? And understand these all proposals were already made by Tilak. Okay? So, but Gandhi is re-proposing it. None of the proposals of the Tilak were accepted, but this time it is accepted. So, mention further. So, you write. Start karo. It was presided by Vijay Raghava Cheriyar. It was presided by Vijay Raghava Cheriyar. Should I write the name? The last one I have written first. The rest of the part of his name is easy. Then mention. By this time, differences between Gandhi and C.R. Das melted. Differences between Gandhi and C.R. Das melted. C.R. Das presented the proposals related to non-cooperation. Proposals related to non-cooperation, which includes boycott of legislative council, British manufactured goods, comma, renouncing public titles, resigning from government services, boycott of judiciary, government controlled schools, and promotion of Swadeshi, Khadi and Charkha. So here what is Swadeshi? India made things. Okay. So Charkha, then you write after it, mention. Gandhi made proposals related to constitution of Congress organization in a newer way. So write very first one. Creation of Congress Working Committee. Of 15 members. To look after day to day, everything separate, day to day affairs of the Congress. To look after the day-to-day affairs of the Congress. Number 2, creation of provincial Congress committees. On linguistic line. Next, All India Congress Committee to coordinate between the provincial committees. Next, to develop Hindi as a contact language. को underline कर लो, because in exam they may confuse you that it was proposed that to develop Hindi as a national language, then they can give you Hindi as the official language. So none of this is correct. It is a contact language. Okay? So to develop Hindi as a contact language between the provinces as extent possible. Then there are few more proposals now, understand. So one more proposal of the Gandhi was that to reduce the Congress membership fee to 25 paise. Then So if the Congress membership fee is reduced to 25 paise, so idea was, or char ana, this was the wording at that time. So 25 paise, if we compare with the today's time, so it will come around 500 to 600 rupees then. And if we say that if some organization membership is 500, 600 rupees, so it's not a big amount. And it would be big for some people, but it's comfortable then. So anybody can join. So the idea was that if the Congress membership fee is reduced, then so large number of people will be joining. And even in a village, if 5, 6 people are joining, so benefits will be going down to the villages then. So this is how the Congress organization will strengthen its position in the rural areas also. And moreover, Gandhi further said that our emphasis must be to strengthen the Congress committees at the district levels also. Then, so counting these all proposals, now see that nobody, or basically when Tilak proposed, so nobody accepted it, but when Gandhi is proposing and when these are going to be implemented, so obviously the reach of Congress is increasing. Then, so mention, you write, Gandhi further proposed to reduce the Congress membership fee to 25 paise. Congress membership fee to 25 paise. So that large number of people can join Congress. Large number of people can join Congress. Then एक last देखो. Gandhi further emphasized on strengthening Congress organization at district level. Congress organization at district level. Then, so this is what is about the proposals in this particular session. Now you write a title: Developments during non-cooperation. Developments during non-cooperation. Developments during non-cooperation. So now already a little bit of it we have discussed. And what is that? That the people who left judiciary and the national institutes were created. Then, so national institute, large number of the schools and colleges, they were created. So as the boycott of the council was also very successful. Majority of the Congress leaders, in fact all the Congress leaders, they have left the councils. Then apart from it, what else was successful? Judiciary boycott. Then charkha and khadi, they became the symbol of the Indian unity. Then in many locations in India, a heap of the British cloths, Manchester made textile, it was burnt. And this is the time when Rabindranath Tagore criticized this particular activity. That he said that he was not agreeing at this point of time. He said that this burning of the cloth is not right. Then he said that at the end of the day, you burn it for the symbolism, but India is not a rich country, it's a poor country. It would have been better that if this cloth would have been distributed to the people rather than burning it as a symbolic thing. So he did not agreed with the Gandhian things at this point of time. Okay? Now let's go ahead. So what else was there? So Tilak Swaraj Fund was created, and within a short span of time, Tilak Swaraj Fund was oversubscribed beyond 1 crore rupees. Then further, that oversubscribed beyond 1 crore rupees. Next provision was, since there was a very high fervor in the society, there were upsurges in the society. So Viceroy reading at this point of time, he was interested in some sort of talk with the Gandhi. Then Madan Mohan Malavi, he facilitated talk between Gandhi and Viceroy reading, but then the talks failed. And so talks failed, nothing came out of it. Then what happened? Prince of Wales, he arrived in India, And at this point of time, obviously, one of the major route of arrival is basically they are coming to the Bombay, and from the Bombay they are going to Delhi and other parts of the country. So once he arrived into Bombay, there was Protestant movement. In fact, people resorted to the violence on the streets then. But at this point of time, Gandhi, he basically observed 1 week fast to control the violence of the masses. One more thing happened, that in 1921, Muhammad Ali, okay, so Khilafat Committee, he advocated that if British authorities are not listening to us, let's start with the passive resistance or civil disobedience. Then, so when he gave a call of it, so he was arrested, he was put into the jail, and in fact, he gave many inflammatory speeches against the British authority. So he was arrested. Gandhi was asked to criticize Muhammad Ali. Then that British authority asked to criticize Muhammad Ali, but Gandhi did not criticize him because he was able to note down that it was all about this asking of the British was all intended to wedge a gap between the Muhammad Ali and Gandhi. In fact, Gandhi was very much accepted as the son of the family of the Muhammad Ali. That in fact, his mother, on a public platform, she said that she does not have the only two sons, but she has a third son who is Gandhi. So Gandhi was very much aware about it. He did not criticize Muhammad Ali. Then finally, what happened? So Gandhi gave an ultimatum to the government. Gandhi gave an ultimatum that if government is not releasing all the political prisoners, including Muhammad Ali, okay, from the jail, and if they are not releasing all the political prisoners within 7 days, and if it is not restoring the freedom of the press, so then he will initiate civil disobedience from Bardoli. So he will initiate civil disobedience from Bardoli. This was his ultimatum. But then when he has given the ultimatum, one incident happened in a town in eastern UP, and the name of the town was the Chauri Chaura. So Chauri Chaura incident happened, after which Gandhi has to call off the non-cooperation movement. But then before writing these all parts, let's differentiate between the civil disobedience and non-cooperation. So what is the basic difference between the two? Let's discuss. So what is the basic difference between the non-cooperation and civil disobedience? What is non-cooperation? You tell. Not cooperating with the British. Okay? Is it illegal to not cooperate with the British, or is it legal? So it is not illegal, we can say. Nothing is legal. It is not illegal. If it is not illegal, so that does not mean that we'll call it legal. So this kind of terminologies must be avoided. It was not illegal, that itself is sufficient. So that itself is sufficient. Moreover, so non-cooperation was the idea to not cooperate with the British authority. So now, if the non-cooperation is to not cooperate with the British authority, so what is civil disobedience? Disobeying the orders and laws, okay? Rules and regulation. So in non-cooperation, do you bypass the law? Do you bypass the law? And in civil disobedience, do you bypass the law? Yes. So this is the basic difference. So basic difference is that in non-cooperation, people don't boycott the law, then bypass the law, not boycott. So bypass the law, but then they will be bypassing it, or basically they will be breaking the law in civil disobedience. So non-cooperation is a softer version. Then softer to nahi hai, theek hai, but it is a version which is not illegal. Moreover, now understand, I'll give you a very good example from the last 2-3 years only that has happened. So one of the example, in fact, non-cooperation can happen each and every time. So for example, that in non-cooperation, you'll not be cooperating with the British authority, meaning that whatever leads to the decision making, you are delaying it, and you are not cooperating with it. So for example, that a real example I'm giving you. It was in 2022 itself, the situation arose in the Sindh province of the Pakistan. Then what was the situation? That at that point of time, obviously, who was the Prime Minister? Mr. Imran Khan was the Prime Minister of the Pakistan, and the other party was the party of the Nawaz Sharif. So the son-in-law of Nawaz Sharif, okay, he was one of the very big police officer in the Sindh. Just like in India, we have a DGP status, so he had a DGP status. Then what happened? That due to the political vendetta, what has happened? That his arrest warrant has been issued. Now the police officer who were interested with, the SP in that area who was interested with arresting that particular person, he did not arrested him. Then, so now when he is not arresting him, what he is doing? Civil disobedience, obviously. But what he did not arrested him before he could disobey the order, he resigned. Now what he did? Non-cooperation. Okay? So what can become civil disobedience? He did it non-cooperation. Then after that, this particular arrest warrant will be, or basically the next officer, they will be arresting him. And you know, there was such a big movement in Pakistan at that point of time that near about 75% of the police officers in Sindh resigned. It's very interesting, very intriguing. Then that they did not wanted to bow down their heads before the political diktats. Then they did not arrested. So this is non-cooperation. That you have the option. Suppose you have been given orders by the authority that you need to do this thing and you find that this is not right, this is corrupt. So you have the option to resign. Okay? You have the option to recuse yourself. So this is non-cooperation. Okay? You are not bypassing the law, but this option is there with you that you will not agree with it. So that is there. In civil disobedience, what will happen? Okay? So when you are not resigning and you are not arresting also, that is civil disobedience. So that is where you are breaking the law. Then, so this is what Gandhi was calling at this point of time, that if they are not breaking the law, so don't consider it as a soft thing. Now onwards we will break the law. So this is what is the ultimatum he has given. And what was this Chauri Chaura incident? 5th of Feb 1922. This incident happened in a town in UP, Gorakhpur district of the UP, Eastern UP. And incident was that the masses were participating in the non-cooperation and they were all excited to see Gandhi. In fact, there was a news that Gandhi would be visiting this area then, and people were highly excited about it. In fact, there were talks among the public that if Gandhi will come to this area, he will touch the air will become ice. Then, so the magical beliefs were there. Then finally what happened? Then, so that masses were protesting and policemen resorted to the violence. Okay? They have thoroughly beaten them. After which what happened? That masses retaliated in a different way. And it is expected from that area that masses retaliated at that point of time in a violent manner. Even till this point of time, they will retaliate in a violent manner. Then, and I'll tell you some underpinnings related to this area. Anyone who is there from this area in this class? So there is one person. Have you heard about Lingdo? In your polity, maybe somewhere you read or maybe you do not read, but as I'm telling you, have you heard about the Lingdo committee? No idea. Lingdo committee was basically related to the student politics then. And actually, Lingdo committee was constituted to look into the criminalization of the student politics. And actually, after the recommendation of the Lingdo committee, the president election, secretary elections, these all stopped in the universities, including Delhi University. Then, so including every university of India. The reason being the criminalization of the politics in the Gorakhpur University. Then, and in fact, what was the scenario over there? I hope some of you must have seen some of the TV series which was based on one of the gangster, okay, Sri Prakash Shukla. Have you heard about it? So some of you must have heard, and I think it is there on the Netflix. You can watch करना तुम्हारी मर्जी है, ठीक है? So मैं क्यों बोलूँ? So Sri Prakash Shukla. From here onwards, the criminalization has started, and then such was the situation that every year, okay, every year what was happening, that somebody who is becoming the president of that particular university, just after 6 or 7 months, he is killed, he is assassinated. His open day murder has happened, and this continued for 7-6 years. Then, that if you are destined to become the president of the university, you are destined to go to the hell or heaven. Then, that was pre-decided. So criminalization of the politics was so big at this point of time. And then if it is happening in this university, so in fact, majority of the universities in the UP and Bihar and all the Bimaru states, they have gone in this direction. And that's how it was, this committee was constituted. So the idea of the violence is there. That तुम वहाँ के लोगों का ये आइडिया है कि तुम एक मारो तो हम 4 मारेंगे, ठीक है? So कट्टा हमेशा बगल में ही होता है. So now what they did, when policemen have resorted to violence, they actually they locked the police station and torched the police station. Okay? In fact, those who were trying to escape, they were also thrown into that particular fire and they were hacked to death. It led to the death of 22 policemen. Okay? So it led to the death of 22 policemen. And since it was a violent activity on the part of the masses, Gandhi decided to call off non-cooperation movement. And the place, Bardoli, which was the place of starting the civil disobedience, became the place of the withdrawal of the non-cooperation. But then after, what British authority is going to do with the Gandhi, we need to discuss later on. So mention developments may, very first thing, you're right, the boycott of councils, judiciary, the boycott of council, judiciary, public schools, was very successful, Then people like Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel, C.R. Das, C. Rajgopalachari, left the profession of law. That next, around 90,000 students immediately left British educational institutes. Then next point, closer to 800 national schools, and 4 institutes of higher learning, that is Gujarat Vidyapeeth, Kashi Vidyapeeth, Kasi Vidyapeeth, Bihar Vidyapeeth, and Jamia Millia Islamia was created. Then next, distribution of charkha for creating khadi. Next, heap of foreign cloths were burnt as a symbol of non-cooperation. Then next, Tilak Swaraj Fund was oversubscribed. With 1 crore rupees. 1 crore rupees. Done. Then next one, was subscribed with 1 crore rupees. Madan Mohan Malviya. Next you write Madan Mohan Malviya facilitated. Madan Mohan Malviya facilitated talks between Gandhi and then Viceroy reading. Gandhi and then Viceroy reading. Then, but the talks failed. Then, next, during the visit of Prince of Wales, then, so you must be careful in writing the spelling. You guys have written it right. In some of the classes, people wrote this Prince of Wales. So meaning ही change हो जाएगा, ठीक है? It will go to the Hollywood where there are many movies are created like this, ठीक है? So now Avatar. So you mentioned Prince of Wales was highly protested by people, which further led to violence. Gandhi observed 1 week fast. Gandhi observed 1 week fast to control the violence. Then, next point. Muhammad Ali was arrested for giving inflammatory speech against British authority. Then mention against British authority, full stop. After it, and then you mention Gandhi was asked to condemn Muhammad Ali, but he refused. Gandhi was asked to condemn Muhammad Ali, but he refused. Then mention next point. Gandhi gave an ultimatum to the government. That if political prisoners are not released within a week, and freedom of press is not established, is not restored, then Gandhi will initiate civil disobedience movement from Bardoli. Then you write after it civil disobedience movement from Bardoli. Done. So अब इसमें ऐड करो after it you write a title, Chauri Chaura incident. Chauri Chaura incident. So Chauri Chora incident. Now understand. So Chauri Chora incident is already we have mentioned, and rest of the part we need to see. So Gandhi basically what he did, that he called off the movement from the Bardoli. And why he called off? Because he felt that it is the violent activity on the part of the masses, and since masses have not understood his methods in totality, so it is better to call off. But there were many reasons that why he has called off. We will discuss. But first of all, there was a disillusionment among many of the people in the society at that time. Okay? So disillusionment among the people related to it, that Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, Motilal Nehru, okay, C.R. Das, they all did not liked all of sudden stop of this particular movement. Then they questioned Gandhi that at this point of time when everything is going good, just because of the violent activity of the some of the people, why we are calling off. Okay? That it is always a situation whereby not everyone will understand. That's a reality. That Gandhi needs to be practical, that everyone will not understand. Okay? And there would be some people who will not be understanding, who will go in this direction. But Gandhi was like that there are many circumstances which necessitated this kind of thing. So first of all, the very first thing, understand that Gandhi felt there was already a fatigue by this point of time. Masses have been exasperated by continuous struggle. Then, so he felt that there is a need to give a pause to the movement so that masses can rejuvenate. Moreover, since the masses haven't understood the concept of the non-violence, so then it is not the right time to continue. He also felt that if I justify the Chauri Chaura incident, so then there would be many Chauri Chauras all over India. People will take inspiration from this incident and the case of the violence will increase. Fourth, Gandhi is considering that if the violence from the part of the masses it is increasing, so will British be sitting idle? No. So the mass violence will further lead to the state violence, and state violence will be much more severe than the mass violence. So if masses are killing 22 people in a go, then the state will kill 2200 people in a go. Then, so this was his idea. And then finally, and see, everything must be backed in some sort of reason. So for example, that just looking at this thing, that when Bose and Nehru, C.R. Das, they all questioned Gandhi, so what happens that we all get prejudiced with some sort of little information that Gandhi did, whatever Gandhi did, that was wrong. So whenever you are writing answers or whenever you are going ahead with it, so just look at it. And if you have not read, just try to find out that what were the reasons, what were the main arguments of the Gandhi of calling off this particular NCM movement. Then, so whatever be your view, you are against Gandhi, you are in support of Gandhi, right from the critical perspective. And critical perspective means that look at the initiative, criticize initiative, not the personality. What happens at this point of time, I have seen n number of the people, and not just the online, in the classes also, that from last many years, 4 or 5 years I'm saying, and particularly in last 2-3 years, that people have become abusive. That you don't need to become abusive then. And moreover, if you are becoming abusive, so you are just bringing a negative aspect to your personality then. And at the same point of time, you don't have any authority to discount the contribution of these people. Even Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, when it comes to their freedom struggle part, so they were in the jail for more than 15 years. Okay? Jawaharlal Nehru spent 9 years in the jail. Gandhi has spent this much years in the jail. Sardar Patel has spent many years in the jail. So before saying anything abusive against them, just look at it. And in the modern times, and if at this time, if anybody has gone to the jail, obviously not for the purpose which we are, it must have been something different. So that kind of sacrifice they have done for the country. So be little respectable leaders of the Indian freedom struggle, any of the spectrum, be it the spectrum of the Muslim religion, be it from the Hindu religion, or be it anybody who is there from the different part of the country. So I hope you understand. Then, So there is one more discussion that we'll be doing later on during the Gandhi-Irwin Pact and the issue of the killing, not killing, execution of the Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev. There is one question which is often raised, that was it in the hand of the Gandhi to stop it? So we'll do the discussion related to that later on. Okay? So now you mention, you write, on 5th of Feb, on 5th of Feb, 5th of Feb, in Chauri Chaura area of Gorakhpur district, on 5th of Feb, in Chauri Chaura area of Gorakhpur district in UP, comma, masses were thoroughly beaten for protesting against British authority. For protesting against British authority. Full stop. Masses retaliated. Masses retaliated. Retaliated and torched the police station. Masses retaliated and torched the police station with all the policemen inside. Torched the police station with all the policemen inside, which led to death of 22 police personnels. Which led to death of 22 police personnels. Police personnels. Full stop. Since it was a violent activity, since it was violent activity on the part of masses, Gandhi called of non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement from Bardoli resolution. From Bardoli resolution. So the place of beginning of civil disobedience became the place of withdrawal of the non-cooperation. Okay? So Bardoli resolution. Then Gandhi faced criticism at this time. Gandhi faced criticism at this time. Criticism at this time. Then mention Gandhi justified why it was important to call off the movement. Why it was important to call off the movement. So now you write the reasons, Gandhi's justification. Number one, that masses have not understood the non-violent methods completely. Masses have not understood the non-violent methods completely. Non-violent methods completely. Okay? Then next one after it, non-violent methods completely, full stop. Continuation of non-cooperation after after Chauri Chaura incident. Chauri Chaura incident will further breed violent activities all over country. Will further breed violent activities all over countries. Number 3, violence of the masses will provoke will provoke British authority will provoke British authority to resort to extreme violence to resort to extreme violence. Number 4, there was general fatigue. There was general fatigue among the masses. General fatigue among the masses. And there was need of recuperation or recovery likho. There was need of recovery. At this juncture, Gandhi gave the idea of so you write it as a title, okay? And this idea as a title you can mention struggle, truce, or you can underline it also. We'll define that what is this struggle, truce, struggle. Gave the idea of struggle, truce, struggle. So what is this? So Gandhi said that after each and every phase of the mass struggle, okay, after each and every phase of the mass struggle, an intense phase of the mass struggle, there is a need of the truce period. In this truce period, the masses which are exhausted, they will be recovering, okay, they will be recuperating, and they will be re-preparing, okay, re-preparing for what? Next stage of the struggle. Then, so next stage of the struggle. But then this truce period would also be utilized for the constructive work. And what is the constructive work as per the Gandhi? So Hindu-Muslim unity, okay, removal of untouchability, then and upliftment of women, okay, and backwards. So this is what he said, that this is the constructive work that masses must be doing at this point of time. So mention, as per this strategy, after every intense period, of mass struggle, after every intense period of mass struggle, in which masses are exhausted, comma, the period of truce must follow. Full stop. In this phase, masses will recover, recuperate, and re-prepare for the next big phase of the struggle. Oh, sorry. Recuperate for the next big phase of the struggle. Meanwhile, the period of the truce will also be utilized for constructive works, like so mention Yatin, to promote Hindu-Muslim unity, Number 2, removal of untouchability, removal of untouchability, and upliftment of women and backwards. Upliftment of women and backwards. Then, so this is the idea. Then, what was the government's response to Gandhi's withdrawal? Government charged Gandhi with sedition, and he was arrested, put into the jail for 6 years. Then, so you're right. Government charge seated Gandhi with sedition, and he was sentenced 6 year jail term. He was sentenced 6 year jail term. Then, so this is what is about the non-cooperation ending. But then there's one more part we'll do later, and कल तो नहीं है class I think. So day after tomorrow we'll be starting with the pro changer and no changer phase. ठीक है, स्वराज्यist और basically स्वराज्यist phase समझ लो. Then after pro changer no changer phase we are going to talk about Simon Commission. ठीक है, the developments during Simon Commission, and then we are also going to talk about the civil disobedience, but at the same point of time there is another phase of the revolutionary nationalism starting from 1924 to 35, second phase. So that discussion would be there day after tomorrow. ठीक है, चलो, thank you. You have another class today? नहीं, कल है 2 class I think. चलो.